Hello and welcome to Dr. Silica's workshop. Today I want to talk about the new Warcrow release from Corvus Belli, the Adepticon bundle for the Sÿenann, a new faction for Warcrow, or rather the new release for one of the factions for Warcrow. The bundle for Adepticon, which is available for pre-order through the end of March, is going to be this action pack here. If you buy that, as well as the Sÿenann Grove Curtailers, you will get this limited edition Grand Captain mini for free. So let me unbox these and kind of show you what you're going to get in each of these. All right, so when you open these up, you'll have the 10 minis in the Action Pack box, 4 in the Grove Curtailers box, and 1 in the Grand Captain box. Notice that the Action Pack and the Grove Curtailers are both CO-cast, and the limited edition Grand Captain here is the Unicool or plastic resin. So slightly different material, but excellent quality, very easy to work with. So as I'm excited to put this guy together. You're also going to get the cards. You'll have the Protectors of the Forest from the Action Pack. In year, the Winged Elf. I have the Druid. Shadows of the Yew. Eidos. And Leoslaith, the High Command, or the leader of the group. You're also going to have a Grand Captain card, which is the generic version of Leoslaith. This is also the card that would apply to the limited edition mini. So note that this mini is not going to have a card in its box. It's going to be in here. If you bought Winds from the North, you're going to see this is the same thing that happened with the Hetman and Wrathmane card, where they were the sort of the generic versions of Drago and Elborg. So they've done the same thing here with the Grand Captain. You also have Alula, which is the generic version of In-Year. And then in the Grove Curtailers box, you'll have the Grove Curtailers card. So there you go. I've already sleeved these. I just kind of like to do that with my cards, but there you go. So let me get a minute to kind of sort these out and show you the parts on each of them. All right, so I wanted to get this video out before Adepticon started, or at least before it was over. So I'm not going to build these minis just yet. I might have a video with the completed ones later, but I am going to go through and we can take a look at each of the miniatures from the Sÿenann Action Pack, except as noted earlier, Leoslaith, because a replacement part for her is on the way. So you can take a look at her body and just say, wow, that's a great torso right there. And then I'll show off the rest of her when she comes in. First, we have one of the Protectors of the Forest right here. Got your main body. This is going to be 3 parts. There's the main body. There is the leg. Attaches there very nicely. Do a dry fit. It's very clean. Clean off that little bit of flash there and on the foot. And then this piece here has the arms. There are 2 arms on that. What I would suggest is to clip off this piece first and then gently snip each of those so that any of the tension of cutting them doesn't damage the bow at all. So shouldn't be too challenging, but I'll report back once they're built. I also want to point out something. I've been fiddling with a couple of these minis, and the CO-cast does seem a little bit firmer or more dense than the CO-cast blend they used from Winds from the North. Maybe a little more brittle almost. So just be cautious when you're using your clippers and nippers on it, and take your time and don't rush it. Just don't rush building these guys. All right, for the next Protector of the Forest, this one's going to be 4 parts here. So again, you got your main body, and then there is a leg and an arm, and then a bow and the quiver, and then the branch to stand on. There is a little detail on that branch, so I'm not sure how that fits into how the model's going to be built, but that's how it'll all go together. And for most part, you see there's a good notch or peg on this piece, and a notch in the shoulder, and then same for the leg. So those I expect to fit together pretty nicely. For the third Protector of the Forest, they're going to be 3 parts. The bow, now keep in mind on this one, the arrow and both arms are connected via that arrow. So just take your time. It's a really small piece right there to connect the 2 arms. Once you get it built, it should be fine, but just take your time clipping it off here. Get your sharpest knife, your sharpest clippers, and just really don't rush that. And then there's on the body here, the tree behind it, the leg, again, fits together pretty neat and pretty quick. So a lot of this, all the parts except for the bows are probably going to be super easy, and those bows are just going to take a little time. So just keep that in mind. Don't try to rush these before your tournament or something. For the last Protector of the Forest, 3 parts here. Again, the back of the cloak and that body seem to go together pretty quick. He said as he hadn't done it before. There we go. So that fits together pretty nice. And then upper body here, along with the bow. Noticing all the connection points again. Take your time getting that off there. All right. This is one of the shadows of the U. 4 parts here. Did a little bit of fiddling with these earlier, and they seem to go together pretty quick. And that'll... yep. Oh, there it is. That one will fit in there pretty nicely. Did notice that's not quite as... well, there we go. That depression there, that groove for the peg is not quite as deep as it should be. So I'm either going to have to carve that out a little bit or trim that piece down. I'll probably do a little of both until it looks nice. But when I do this, it just seems to be a little more play in there than I'd like. All right. 2 arms, pretty easy. For the second, this one's a little more dynamic with the tree piece going on the base, and then the soldier being 2 parts and attaching, I think, take a look at it. Oh, right. There it is, right there. When you look at his feet, this leg has the peg for that, so clean that off. That'll fit nicely in there. And then the upper body is all one piece with the arms already attached. Just what I think will work for this to clean the weapons off here is when you have your hobby knife, set it down on your cutting surface and just sort of maybe even put something underneath it and just kind of gently press down until you cut that piece off and get it to shape, and then you can sand and address that last little point so it has the appropriate curve to it. But don't just kind of hold it in your hand. This is going to be a little too bendy for that, so definitely get some support on there before you do anything with it. I've got in the ear here, and I will apologize for all of the names that I pronounce wrong. I don't speak Elvish or Irish or Gaelic, so sorry. All right, so he's a few different parts, a head and an arm there, 2 wings, and then his 2 parts to his body, and then the rock here. As noted earlier, one of the wings will be in the bag with the rest of his parts, the other wing will be separate, so just kind of keep that in mind. With that, his back has 2 slots for the wings. You're not gonna be able to see it if I hold it up, but I did dry fit them earlier and they went in pretty nicely. So that shouldn't, it's gonna be a delicate connection point, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And there's two points of connection there on the arm and the leg. So that'll slot in like that. And then you've got Where to go? His hand is on the base there, and there's a spot to connect as well with the other part. So all this is going to kind of, there we go, fit together once I clean it up, and then drop in the head, arms, and wings, and you're good to go. Hopefully I can keep the detail on the feathers when I take these injection points off. So, all right. And then we've got the Iodos. 4 parts, real simple. A little bit of a mold line on the weapon there, so I'll have to carefully take that off. But the body's looking pretty good so far. The harp looks pretty nice. Again, everything's going to need to be cleaned up. I've rarely seen a model that doesn't need some form of cleanup. So when I say it's looking good, obviously there's still little pieces there. Here we go. There. That'll have to trim off, but nothing egregious. All right. Legs looking nice. So again, see that. Fits together pretty good. So, all right. That one should go pretty quick. And then the last one that we have today is going to be the Druid. Lots of parts. Wow. All right. So we've got upper body, lower body, head, leg, staff. As with in-ear, the staff is going to be separate. So these pieces will be in a bag, and that'll be on its own, as you saw earlier. This one I tried to dry fit earlier, and it took me just a second, but the 2 parts there go together quite easily. And then the leg, just showing off a tasteful amount of thigh. So leg kind of sticks out there. And then staffs do what staffs do, and should fit in that groove of the cloak. So overall, cleanup wise, looks pretty good. This delicate part up here maybe has one thing to clean off, but should be easy enough. A little bit on the leg. Oh, sorry about that. Just a little bit on the leg. Head's pretty clean. One little piece of flash to clean up. A couple injection points down here, but mold line wise looking pretty good. And the staff is going to be tricky, just like the bows, but should be doable. I think I'll probably cut off at the lowest point, or the bottom first, and then the top, and then the middle. And then I'll need to figure out exactly where, I think it's pretty clear, this sort of tassel ends and the injection point begins. So that's the Druid staff. All right, then for the Grove Curtailers, the hats appear to be just pose agnostic. They all seem to wear the same one regardless of the miniature. So if you find something to the contrary, please post and let me know. That's 2 minis, and this is 2 minis here. So I'll kind of fumble through this together. I believe this is the leader. It's going to be one of the more complicated builds with, let's see. She's got her 2 weapons on this sprue. 2 parts to her body here. And then her hat. There we go. Obviously, I have to trim off those 2. And then this fella is going to have just the leg. They all have these like rear skirts. So keep an eye on those, but pretty clean, an easy connection point in the back. Right there. Oop. Got a mind of its own. And then the arms. And for the other two torsos, back skirts or cloaks, there are 2 loose arms and two connected arms, as well as the 2 hats. Not really expecting any challenges with these two. Not sure if the arms are lined up right, but just go with me on that one. So again, those should be great. Pretty straightforward to build. Again, as with any thin piece, you just take your time, sharp tools when you're using the Sÿenann, and it hopefully doesn't pose too much of an issue. So set these guys aside so I don't lose the pieces. I'll try to stop hitting the camera. And then for the last mini, we'll take a look at the Grand Captain, the limited edition model. I did actually build that one already, got a little excited. It's a beauty. Here you go. Look at this absolute gem. It's, as opposed to the Sÿenann or the rest of the minis, this is the Unicool, or what Corvus Belli will sometimes call plastic resin. I think there were 2 places I had to clean it up. Maybe like the cloak and one other spot. I mean, really just went together really quick. I really had a hard time finding anything on it that needed to be addressed or cleaned up, in any significant way. I suppose there's a bit of a mold line at the bottom of the cloak, if we're being picky, but that's how you're going to play it. So I don't really think you're going to see it too often, maybe, and not certainly not from this angle. So really nice detail, nice motion in the sculpt and the pose, and crisp. It feels good. Feels, even though it's the tree is going one way and the other, and the model's back, it feels fairly sturdy when it's base. I'm not concerned it's going to fall over all the time. If this model were made out of metal, I think it would be very top heavy. So that's one benefit of the lighter material. Really excited to see what I can do with this guy. Paint wise, I'm trying to debate between spring, summer, or fall paint scheme for them. And I considered winter, but I don't really know what winter leaves would look like, because I want to go, I would want to go blue and white, but in winter the leaves are going to be brown or just gone altogether. So I'm thinking spring, summer, or maybe a fall paint scheme for these guys. If you have any thoughts on that, please let me know what you're thinking of painting your elves. You're gonna use natural wood for the bows, or maybe toss in some metallics somewhere. Love to hear your ideas and see what you've come up with. All right, so those are all the minis for the Sÿenann Action Pack, available for pre-order now through March 30th. Either at Corvus Belli store, Warcrow, Interstellar Games, any number of other online retailers, your local game shop, or directly from Corvus Belli if you're at Adepticon. So please check it out and let me know what you think. And thanks for watching.